Hey, this is Mike from Junkion Crafts and Builds, and this is the impressions video for the Marvel Legends 85th celebration Ghost Rider. So I found this at my local toy store, All Time Toys in Sykesville, Maryland. If you haven't had a chance to go to them, if you're in the DMV area or online, please check them out. They got a lot of really awesome inventory, and Jason and the crew are just really awesome to deal with. So thank you guys at All Time Toys for A, showing that this was available, and B, just by being your cool, awesome selves. So, looking at the package, of course, we have this new windowed package celebrating 85 years, Hasbro on the side, Legends on the top corner, and there's an open window showing the Ghost Rider and his motorcycle. Now, this is the Danny Ketch version. This is the one I'm more familiar with. I wasn't really into Ghost Rider when I was more heavily into comics, so Danny was my interpretation of the Ghost Rider, as well as this wicked looking motorcycle. So of course, like I said, we have the front. We have this really cool image of the Ghost Rider here on the side. And here we have promo shots, a little bit of a bio here. Really cool promo picture of the motorcycle with Ghost Rider. We have blast effects, details on the dials here for the motorcycle, and a movable foot peg. Yay. So now let's get past all the box stuff and let's get this figure out and really check out this Ghost Rider. Here we have everything out of the packaging, and my first little mini rant, which I will probably be repeating it for my classified series impressions. While we have the new windowed box and it's really nice, the plastic vac packaging is super tight around everything. And I don't know if anyone else has experienced it, but already Hasbro stuff is already gummy enough. But when you have to start wrestling around with the plastic that holds it in place, you're just increasing the chance of stuff getting bent or warped or anything. So then it's not Hasbro's fault because, G.I. Joe classified series, they had them in the bags, they got warped or whatever. Now it's going to be your fault when you try to wrestle it out of the packaging. Mini rant over. Let's look at what we got here for Ghost Rider. And it's going to be a mixture of these old parts and new parts. And by say old parts is, we've had a couple Ghost Riders already. Last one I think was a Retro Wave Ghost Rider, and it had the same neck piece here in place. So the body itself is new, and I'll show the fodder body that I have later on here to kind of show the differences between the two. But here we have him. We got a little bit of I guess it's a touch up from what we had before with Ghost Rider. We have this skull, obviously, but it has a little more like a wash or an intentional shading in place for him. And it's kind of in this goldish color scheme. I get the point of it. It's not bad, but it is a little, I don't know. I was thinking more like a darker brown or some other shading. So the eyes, they did a really cool job here showing like the pennant stare circles for the irises and stuff. It's really neat looking. I can zoom in here, sorry. There we go. For the pennant stare. And I can see a little bit of that shading on the upper part of the articulated jaw. I didn't see it till I got things closer here. So there is a very light shading around here. But again, nowhere to the same effect as the upper part of the skull. So it's not my lighting per se, but you can see a little bit. And so Hasbro tried to put a little bit of deco on this version of the Ghost Rider. Again, we got the translucent plastic glued to the back of the skull, going around. So I mean, it's good that they put a little more effort into it. I've seen pictures of the previous Ghost Riders. Some of them are just, plain white and whatnot. And again, we got the same articulated jaw that I think were on the other ones. You get a little bit of closed here. So, and the neck piece, like I said, is familiar to those who have the previous versions of this figure. I guess we're zoomed in, we might as well move on here. This classic comic look for his leather jacket. They tried to match the glossiness of the harder plastic to the PVC. You can definitely see, this is the gloss, this is the more matte for the plastic here. Then it gets shiny here at the hard plastic for his double jointed elbow. So I mean, that's what we expect. I'm probably going to just do a gloss coat over this entire jacket just so it matches, because looking at it now, I mean, it's still a little, it's distracting for me. We have our U-joint here. You can bend back. You can see that they actually finished the sculpt all the way up, and it slightly follows the line of the jacket here, but not completely as you go up. I think the biggest thing is, I don't know, I was expecting this to be a little brighter. I know this is all PVC and they came out of the sprue and it's like the silvery metallic, but it's really, it's still dull. It's really dull here for like the chain that goes across his chest. Obviously the chains along, or the gauntlets here, the belt itself is a floaty piece. So, I don't know. And there, that's another piece that's just kind of glued on the place. Pants are a little bit different, a little tighter. But we got the boots. We have a boot swivel and this other glued on piece here to his boot on this side. And then we got the same texture for the boot as we have for the leather jacket. So, and a little bit of texture here on the pants. There he is from the back. So aesthetically, he's kind of he's decent for what I guess you had in the past, but he's not perfect. I mean, like I said, I think he looks a little bit on the small side, especially with these small legs. I don't know. You guys tell me in the comments of your opinion of Ghost Rider. Is he a more like normal body? And maybe this is Danny Ketch's frame as well. You know, I'm not sure. But like I said, he looks a little small, but his boots are nice and substantial. He can stand on his own without any problems. All right. He's not falling all over the place. Articulation, we'll go through that real quick. So we have our head, which is on a ball peg. Doesn't really look up at all. At all. Same with really looking down. Not too much you can really do. He's pretty much looking straight. You can rotate 180 as long as you back around, and I just took off his jaw. How about that? So we'll get that back in place. And we won't do that 360 anymore. How about that? So there's his jaw. Again, the jaw articulates. All right. So there's that. Can get slightly over the T-pose just by a hair. Overall, not a hard thing to get. We're on a soft ratchet up and down, and then we got a 180 here. You've got your bicep rotation, and it's curved, so that makes it a little easier when making putting him in poses. It doesn't look too awkward, so that's a nice touch. We got our double jointed elbows, so good range. Hands rotate. These default hands are on a horizontal hinge, which would be fine if you're waving your whip around, which we'll look at it in a second. But if you're going to be riding and you have them holding on to the handlebars, these now become vertical hinges, right? So I got to see how that's going to look when you have them on the bike, if that's going to affect it or not. We have our typical U-joint here. Like I was shown before, you can bend down that far, bend back that far, and we have waist rotation on a soft ratchet as well. Like I said, the belt is a floaty piece, so you can get that up or down. Not really going to affect. It's kind of hiding the waist swivel, so take that as it will. Legs, we got drop down hips, so you can get up that far, back that far. Thigh rotation, double jointed knees. He can't kick his own tail, but that's pretty good for what I would want. We have boot rotation. We have a click down, one click down, and not really up that much because of the cut, but we have a pivot as well. So typical, Legends articulation. We just got to see how things look, but we also have some accessories to look at, so let's check those out as well. So we get a couple hand options. Like I said, default we have these trigger, handlebar, brake gripping looking hands. Our alternate pair of hands include a right fist and a left open, menacing, I'm going to point at you type of grippy hand. Overall, nicely done. They are also on a horizontal hinge. So if you want him to look like he's going to crack his knuckles, that's about as good as you're going to get it, because we don't have any butterfly joints onto this body as well. So that's another kind of detriment for some people if they want some max articulation. We also have this floaty chain here, simulate when he's just holding it around. So I'm going to consider that an accessory, because you can remove it when we put the whip in his hand, which let's just do that now. And here is his chain whip. It's not anything different than what people who own the previous Ghost Riders haven't seen before. We have this orange PVC rubber, and it's been painted in that same kind of matte silverish gray bottom piece here for him to hold and wield, which we will do right now. And here we have Danny lashing out with his flame whip. Tolerance in his hand fairly well. I'm sure these hands are not unfamiliar to previous Ghost Rider owners as well. So it looks cool enough. Might touch it up, especially here with this, this plain Jane kind of matte gray finish that they have here. So again, it just trying to get him into different poses. All in all, not too bad. And if you wanted to, you could use the other gripping hand and hold the opposite end of the flame whip as well. So now that we've gone through his accessories, let's get to the main event and look at this new motorcycle. All right, folks, so this is the part where I am going to not sound like one of the other raging YouTubers out there, but there are some things about this bike that really disappoint me. Anyway, here's the bike itself. Pretty substantial weight, and I think that's because of the rubber PVC for the wheels here. So it's a nice size and everything. We have this, like I said, these two wheels are this translucent PVC, same as the flame whip. Just got this little bit of a paint here, this deco near the hubs to kind of simulate the different colors of the flame on the front and back. The front tire is smaller than the back tire, so that's nice. It kind of matches up with what we expect. The body here is this black matte, and it, as you can tell here, it is a fingerprint magnet. And I even wiped my hands off before messing with this, but still a little oil on it. Anyhow, we have this really nice set of tampos here for the dials for the motorcycle. Really nice. He's going over 100. Yeah, so cool little stuff in this little thing for the gas cap. This is a soft pliable rubber. You get the smallest amount of twist because it's on a ball peg that you just push in place. So there's that. Seat, just a brown plastic there. A little glossy compared to the matte of the body itself. This is like a slight gunmetal, if you even want to call it that, and it's a swirly plastic, so that's extra annoying. $55, ladies and gentlemen. We have the front plate here for the motorcycle. It is on a slide. If I can get it back out here. There we go. So you can see it just slides into place, and it's kind of indented in the center here, I believe, to allow you to put this into different positions. So there's the furthest point down. Okay. And then you can slide it back up to like the uppermost position here. So I guess this is cruising, and then kit go to pursuit mode. If you understand that reference, you're old like me. So there is that. The other, oops, get that back in place. The other feature that they tout about is the foot pegs are movable, which means you can go from this position here where you want them to sit back a little bit further, or you can pull it out of the little slot and plug it into the bottom if you want to have him sitting differently. That's the movable part, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so there's the bike. Let's see how it stands. It doesn't. So I would have loved to have some sort of flip down here, or at least some sort of kickstand, whether it's an actual kickstand or some sort of faux piece, just to help keep it balanced. You can do it here, as I can show you, but it's something that you got to whittle around with, and we'll try it again when we put the figure on, because unlike other YouTubers, I will show Ghost Rider on the motorcycle. So we have that. We also come with these blast, or these flame effects. This is just a simple translucent orange plastic, no real deco on them at all. All right, so this is the front. Okay, here's the back piece. All right, because it's a wider tire, and we also have this little stand piece here that goes underneath the bike to give him that raised appearance. So let's see how that looks together. Back, front, and do I have that in the right position? I do. So it's not sitting level. The front flame effect does not sit flush. That could be my copy, but there's really only one way to put this tire in, and it's sitting up. Okay, the back piece is okay as well, but maybe that's part of the effect. Maybe that's supposed to be, because you can see the back here kind of flares up as well. Kind of odd. To me, it looks like it's warped, but that's just me. All right, so let's see what this centerpiece looks like. Now there's a nub or a slot here to fit the flame effect in, and it looks like it sits like that. So let's just plug it in. Plugs in fairly easily, and let's see. Okay, sits kind of, but I don't know if you can tell here. Let me raise the camera, but it doesn't sit straight unless I adjust it here. Maybe it's just me. No, it leans. It's leaning this way. Probably because this is just a really soft, the soft PVC. Let's see if I can just sit in there right again. Make sure it's not just me and I'm not talking out my ass. All right, so there's that. It's definitely, you can see it there, it's leaning. So I assume you have to have the back piece in place for it to be straight. So that's kind of annoying. Anyway, let's see how well Danny sits on the bike. So we'll start with having him in the foot stand in this position here, just to see how it goes. I might speed this up because you guys don't want to see me fiddle-farging around with this, but hand slide in fairly easily. All right. Get his hand in there. And we'll get his legs bent. He's sitting there properly. And I guess we'll have to use one of these here to keep him straight. Okay, so here he is with him sitting in position with the foot stand in that spot. I guess I can move his knee back a little bit more. I will say that, the joints are fairly easy to manipulate, so that's not an issue. But there he is sitting in that position, kind of up straight. So not too bad. And if we slide this down to pursuit mode, here you're going to see a little more of the body. And if we get this little peg back in place, let's see how that looks. And there he is, flaring up, if you want to call it. Go. All right, there we go real quick. There he is in the other foot position. Wheels roll fairly well. But again, you got to kind of angle him up to kind of get that look. So he's actually looking up. So you might have to kind of manipulate him around a little bit just to kind of see if you can get his head up a little bit more. So there, I adjusted the waist and kind of pulled these back a little bit. Here are the handlebars are that soft rubber as well. So let's put both these effect pieces in. And there we are in the other foot position for Ghost Rider. So yeah, other thing, this front spoke does not move at all. So we just dealt with that with the G.I. Joe Classified Series Ferret, where the vintage one, you know, the front spoke could move. This one, it's molded all in place. So that's kind of one of those annoying things too. So if you wanted to get him, I know they showed this in a promo shot, but like have him doing the Akira, you can kind of do it. You got to mess around with the body a little bit more, but it's all straight. Nothing really in place. And maybe if you kind of do this, I don't know, just playing around here, you can have that look if you want. You can have his one hand up, which will allow you to hopefully adjust the bike a little bit, or not the bike, the body, and have him looking that way. So you can do, there's some posability options you have with it, but the lack of that front spoke moving around and a kickstand option really kind of limits what you're doing here. If you want to try to keep him straight, you're actually using Ghost Rider as the kickstand. And you can see how well that works. Let's just move on to final thoughts. Or nope, we're going to go to comparison. And for my main comparison, this is the retro Ghost Rider body. I bought it off of eBay. It didn't come with a head or any other accessories. But what I was telling you before about the head piece or the neck piece here, that part is reusable because if you pull the head off of the 85th, you can see the similarity there. They just didn't paint the top vertebrae on this one compared to the retro wave. But the head fits on there as well. And you get about the same level of articulation if you wanted to have Johnny Blaze retro style with the shading on the skull this time. And as you can see, the retro one is slightly, the body itself is slightly taller than the new version here. So there's that. I do like the aesthetic of this one more. This one is just, I said this one was too small. This one is just way too skinny. And the boots are just like crazy tall and very big. But there's the body comparison for Ghost Rider that I have. And here he is with an MCU Spider-Man and X-Men 97 Goblin Queen. And here he is next to a Valaverse Condor and the Deadpool Legacy Wolverine. And for a little added bonus, here's the Ghost Rider chasing after Jigsaw in the Ramen Racer. So final impressions of the Marvel Legends 85th Celebration Ghost Rider and Motorcycle Danny Ketch Edition. You know, I was really excited for this, and I know a lot of people are. It's a really good looking sculpt for the bike and for this new sculpt for Ghost Rider himself. But I'm not amazed. I'm really not. There's some things that are really disappointing. Some of it's with the bike, some of it's with the figure. Again, this swirly gray plastic for the belt, the chain, or the chain accessory that goes around him, and whatnot. It's fine, but it doesn't wow me. Like, I'm expecting this to be a little more, I don't know, brushed, so to speak. It's not particularly, you know, it has a little bit of like a tint to it, but maybe that's just my lighting as well. But it doesn't wow me. The sculpt is a little smaller than what I was expecting for Ghost Rider. The reuse of some parts, especially the neck piece, I mean, you're still not getting any real articulation, so you're trying to manipulate and compensate for the ball peg. by adjusting the body around to get the looks you want. But good things, you know, again, the sculpt itself is really nice. I just don't like the glossy versus the matte for the PVC. So it's, you know, he's fine. They did a little extra effort with the deco on the skull and whatnot, so I'll give them that, but it's not banging me, especially for 55 bucks. The bike, really annoying that the only way you keep it straight, unless you want to sit there and fiddle with it for hours on end to sit on its own wheels, you have to use these flame effects, which again kind of don't sit properly or completely flush, at least my copy. No front spoke swivel to speak of. That's really annoying. Putting the foot pegs in two different positions to kind of help you get different looks. It's a nice touch. Not enough to really, you know, totally blow me away. And the little piece here of the soft gumminess, you have to actually use the back flame effect to make him stand straight. If not, like I showed before, you put the weight on here. It's just annoying me. I'm going to do it again just to annoy myself a little bit more. So you put them on there without that, the weight of it starts bending the effects part, flame part. You can see him going right now. So there's that. If this was your Ghost Rider when you were reading comics in the late 80s, like 90s time period, you're going to be satisfied, I'm sure. It's just, it's cool, but it's not amazing. And for 56 bucks, whatever tax you have wherever you live, and the fact that this guy is pretty much sold out everywhere, I think, except BBTS maybe, I'm not sure. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get excited, but I can't. I'm just not. He doesn't wow me. I'll probably be putting a little rub and buff silver on all this here just to get a little more shine out of everything. Yeah, but that's what I have with it. If you have them for pre-order and you're satisfied with it, you want to be excited and see in your own hands, I'm all for that. I'm not telling you not to buy this. I'm not telling you it's crap. I'm not telling you that it's, you know, a bunch of junk from the Marvel Legends team. They've been killing it with sculpts lately. This sculpt is no different, even though it's a little bit of a rehash of some older parts. It's just like one of the things, you know, with Legends in and of themselves. There's some really cool stuff, and then there's always going to be those things on the side that you're looking at, you're like, man, I wish they would have done this. I would have loved to have two fists, you know, for him to be posed with. I'm sure you won't be disappointed. It's going to be a cool display piece, but to me, it's a little overpriced for what I was expecting. Especially, like, again, 85th celebration. That's what I have for you guys. Do you like it? Are you going to get it? Let me know in the comments. Is there something I did that I missed that you wanted to see? Let me know in the comments as well. You can give me a thumbs up. I'll greatly appreciate it if you share this video. I love it as well. And if I've earned your subscription, even better. That's my impressions of the 85th Celebration Ghost Rider. Thank you very much for watching. Again, I greatly appreciate it. And we'll talk again soon. Bye.